Hi, everyone. Welcome to DomainSherpa, and thank you for tuning in to the podcast with the best domain name and digital asset content in the world. Today's episode is a DomainSherpa review titled Skills to Pay the Bills, featuring Josh, Braden, and Rob Schutz, who's been on the show before, but this is his first time on a DomainSherpa review. And on today's show, we play the domain game featuring AresFunding.com, Speed.ai, Pay.ca, and StrikeTeam.com. And then we've got the NameJetGonnaJet segment, sponsored by NameJet, and we talk about some domains coming up for auction, including Lancer.com, PrivateClasses.com, ComfortSystems.com, and Mime.org. The Sherpas also get into how they evaluate pricing and purchasing domains and how the use of comparable and competing options helps in the process. They also talk about exact match domains and if there's still value in those kinds of domains in light of the changing search landscape and how using AI tools has changed the way people look for things online. All that and more is coming up on today's show. And remember, if you're listening to the audio version of this podcast, you can also watch the video version at DomainSherpa.com and on our YouTube channel at ds.tv. You can also listen to the shows on Apple and Spotify and other podcast platforms as well. So please make sure to hit the like button and the subscribe button where you can and help DomainSherpa grow the pie. We also integrate our shows with Muse.ai, which provides search functionality for the shows and transcripts as well. And huge shout out to DNWE, short for Domain Name Wholesale Exchange. It's a trading platform designed specifically for domain investors, streamlining the process of buying and selling domain names to make it quicker and easier. With a community of over 3,500 investors, DNWE enhances market liquidity, facilitating more efficient transactions with standard domain listings, reverse auctions, standard auctions, and portfolio auctions. DNWE is part of EW3N, a family-run digital asset investment company based in London, England, that also operates DomainManage.com, which is a global sales platform, and Brandable.uk, which is a marketplace for UK and Co.uk domain names. And also, big shout out to Unstoppable Domains, the only ICANN accredited registrar that lets you trade DNS domains on-chain and access crypto investors. With 3% commissions at cost renewals and hundreds of resellers soon to be integrated, they're a cutting-edge marketplace you need to know about and use to keep your costs down and get more sales. Unstoppable can save you thousands in registration costs. They have $5 .com Fridays and $5 off all transfers in. No promo code required. A big shout out to our own business, MediaOptions, the #1 domain brokerage in the world. Find out more at MediaOptions.com, where you can also sign up for our newsletter for the best domain opportunities available in the market every week, and also featuring key insights and other helpful information related to branding, naming, and of course, domain investing. And last but not least, some upcoming domain conferences to mention. We've got NamesCon Global coming up November 5th and 6th in Miami. Go to namescon.com for more information and to register. Use coupon code DS20 to get 20% off the ticket price. And on the topic of domain conferences, the ICA's got their annual member meeting coming up, taking place January 15th to the 17th at the Park MGM in Las Vegas. Go to ICA.Vegas for more information, and we'll see everybody there as well. All right, so now with all of that, it's time to get into this episode of Domain Sherpa, where all roads lead to domains. What's up, Sherpa Network? Thank you for tuning in today. My name is Jonathan Tenenbaum, a.k.a. JT, a.k.a. Jay On, a.k.a. Sherpa Winfrey, host and producer of Domain Sherpa, where all roads lead to domains. Today's show is a Domain Sherpa review, where we get into the minds of successful domain investors using real examples so we can learn strategies and tactics to become more successful domain name investors ourselves. These are the experts, the OGs, the best in the biz. We got a pseudo special guest today. I'll get into that. There's 4 segments to a Domain Sherpa review. Yeah, Braden, you're always the pseudo special guest. Just because you're special don't mean you're a special guest. You know what I'm saying? And there's 4 segments to a Domain Sherpa review. We've got the grand opening. That's where I intro the Sherpas. We see what's going on with them. We talk about some related things, some unrelated things. Then we got the domain game, where we hear what the Sherpas recently bought or sold. Everybody guesses on the price. We keep score somehow, some way, someday. Gonna get some swag to the winners. You know what I'm saying? We got some new, we got the Sherpa Island hoodies. These will be, you'll see these live in person at NamesCon in November. And then, who you gonna eat first? And then we got NameJetGonnaJet. We review a list of domains coming up for auction on NameJet. We see what the Sherpas like, what they don't like. Then we got GrandClosing, where we discuss anything we haven't covered already, what's going on in the domain space, looking at the market trends, current events, allowing our guests to mention and promote anything they want to talk about that we've not already discussed. With that, let's go ahead and introduce the Sherpas. Over to my right, we got my boy Josh Reason, a.k.a. Bjorn Borg, a.k.a. Prince Harry, a.k.a. Harry Kane, a.k.a. Prince Harry Kane, a.k.a. Chicka Chicka Slim Shady, aka DNX. It's dark, hell is hot, and X gonna give it to you. What's up?
X gonna give it to you. Yeah.
X
What's
gonna
up?
give it to you.
Yes,
Oh,
yeah.
man.
All good, man. All good. Just happy to be back in my routines. We did we do a Sherpa last week as well?
We
Was it
did,
last?
yeah, we did.
Just back on that Sherpa grind, and
That's it.
yeah, all
Back
good,
on
all
that
good.
pure
Happy
uncut
domaining
Sherpa.
right now. Yeah, yeah. It feels good to like get back into like a good, few hour routine of buying domains and chatting with my people and doing some spaces, doing some Sherpas, just getting in the mindset, getting real nerdy.
Getting locked in, locked in.
Updating DNX.
Yeah, do a little bit of that.
I like how you threw that too. You're like, it's nice to get in that routine of doing a few hours of work per day.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It's hard
Hey.
to get out
Yeah,
of
the
that.
last couple days, I've probably been grinding pretty hard on like the buying, so I've probably done like 6-7 hour work days, and I'm just like, oh, bro, like end of the day, I'm like, my back's hurting. Like, Christine, don't talk to me. This is like I've been grinding all day,
And she knows. She's like, you've been buying today, haven't you? I can tell.
I
How many
can
days have
tell.
you bought?
I can see it. I can see it. She's like, you need the 3 fingers of scotch right now. I got to bring you the drink to let you ease off of that hard day's work. You in the digital mines, baby. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's it.
That's right.
Picks
No,
and
but
shovels.
hey, like 2-3 hours of hardcore domaining, it's tough. That's
Yeah.
tough.
I think it's an underrated aspect of for me, like whenever I'm away, as much as I enjoy being on vacation and traveling, like coming back, like there's always that initial wave of like, oh, there's so much to dig out from. But getting back in the routine feels really good. I don't know. I get really sort of edgy if I'm away for too long and I feel like not in sync with my stuff.
100%.
Yeah.
That, I got to get locked in, so.
Because so much of this stuff is real time too. It's like
100%.
it happens quickly and you need to move quickly in order to take advantage of the opportunity. So when you can't do that, you're like, you also have the FOMO of like missing out on the opportunity.
Yeah.
I was like, my
FOMO
last
is real in your
my
inbox.
last week when I was in the UK, I was texting Rob actually, and I was like, dude, I gotta get back. Like, my neighborhood's falling apart. Like, people like driving all over my grass in front of my house. Like, I need to get home.
Yeah, and I remember responding like, "Who is this? How'd you get my number?" Then we figured it out later.
Oh, now you guys are locked in. Yeah, well, Josh's neighborhood is pretty serious over there. I remember when we talked about this story when 4th of July like almost got into it with his neighbors, and he's like, "Oh yeah, but I'm gonna be the asshole British guy telling my neighbors to stop firing off fireworks on 4th of July." Like,
are you still bitter, Josh, about the Revolutionary War? Is that something?
Yeah, it hurts a little.
Yeah.
Hey, look, USA baby, undefeated. You know what I'm saying? Undefeated. Let's get it.
The fireworks are just rubbing it in your face.
It's like everyone that goes off, he's like personally offended.
Another.
It's like right to his heart.
Hey, for anyone taking that seriously, I love it here. I got an American passport. I was super happy when I came back this summer. You my people.
Oh, that's good, man. I like that. So keep that in mind, y'all. Josh is one of us. And but yeah, so what's going on? The big issue in your neighborhood right now is these e-bikes, man. These kids are flying all over the place, like unlicensed, young kids going, and said actually there've been a couple kids hit by cars and Amazon trucks and, life
One of
flighted.
them was on our street right before we left, like a UPS. I think it was a UPS driver. Oh no, I think it might have been
was Amazon. Yeah,
it was the Amazon driver. The kid went. My wife saw it, like up in the air, landed on one of my neighbors' like front yard.
Holy shit!
And then ended up having to get helicoptered to the local hospital. I think it's still pretty bad, man. But
yeah,
like it's been like 2 or 3 months. I had to go into an induced coma. But there's been multiple stories like that recently. But I don't know. I try not to talk too much about it because honestly, I got obviously a lot of parent friends that happily give their kids these e-bikes. But honestly, I think it's crazy. I think it's actually crazy. Those things go so fast.
Yeah, they go like.
Yeah,
they're wearing helmets.
Some of them, but like
a lot of helmet wearing.
It's not strapped, so it just flies off anyway.
Yeah, and the helmet's not only going to protect you so much. I will say though, I do think that the younger generations have done a better job of wearing helmets when they're biking than we did as kids, right? Like I was actually having a
I never
conversation
wore a helmet.
with a buddy.
Ever.
No, never. Like, I still don't. I bike to the gym occasionally, and like, I never wear the helmet. I've got a buddy of mine who does like Ironmans and that kind of thing, and he fell off his bike recently. And if he wasn't wearing a helmet, he'd probably be in the hospital right now. So, but I just, but I think younger kids, they all wear helmets. When you don't see them running around with helmets, it actually stands out a little bit. But when we were kids, I mean, we were also drinking out the fire hose, and not the fire hose, the garden hose, and doing all that. So, we were latchkey kids with zero supervision. Now, but these kids, they got these bikes, they go like 20, 30 miles an hour.
That's the problem. It's the speed, right? Like we were just freaking pedaling and going like 10 miles per hour or whatever. And like, even when you're going fast, you have some control because you're pedaling it. Like, they're going 30 miles per hour and
flying through intersections. I mean, and I feel really bad for the Amazon driver. You know what I'm saying? You hit a kid on a bike, you got to feel pretty terrible about that.
Dude, he was crying. He was sitting up next to his truck crying, bawling his eyes out. I mean,
that's crazy. Well, hey, so be safe out there, everybody. You know what I'm saying? Just keep. That's the ultimate lesson.
JT.
Guys, everyone's like watching the show like this. It's like tears coming down, just like, oh my god.
Oh, dude.
Hey, if DomainSherpa doesn't make you cry, you're not doing it.
Yeah, you're not fully invested. You're not paying attention. All right, let's keep it moving. We here in the intro. This is what happens. Next up, we got my boy Braden Pollock, aka Tony Stark, aka Benjamin Button, aka Eat Bray Love, aka Braden Statham, aka Braden Pollockton, the Archduke of Calabasas and the Viscount of Woodland Hills. It's not that your domain is worthless, it's just that it's worth less. What's up, bruh?
Howdy.
I know last time you were like, I kindly request more different AKAs, and I haven't done it yet. So just so you know, I've been busy riding my e-bike.
Drew's out of town. What have you been doing? Nothing.
Exactly. Somebody's got to do the work. Who's going to carry the boats, Braden? Who's going to carry the boats?
Nobody.
Big shout out to Drew, though. He's enjoying, they're off in the Italian countryside, just, holidaying, doing what they do, summering still.
You need to give him a shout out. He's not going to watch this.
He's never going to watch it. Oh, exactly. It was the other day, dude. I was talking about the show we did when Daniel was on, and he's like, oh, yeah, he did good. And I'm like, oh, you watched it? He's like, no. I'm like, come on, man. At least he had a positive reaction to Daniel, so shout out to Daniel as well. But what's crazy though is like, cause here and where we are, kids are back to school already. They went back to school like a week ago. So I don't know what's up in Jersey. Are you guys, when did the kids go back? Is it soon? Is it already?
I'm in Jersey.
No, that's why I'm sorry.
It's confusing. Rob, it's confusing to everybody because he's introducing me.
I know I'm introducing Braden, but I'm looking.
Which I don't have, and Jersey where I don't live. So
I'm right now. I'm locked in with Rob.
He sees a bunch of handsome guys, and it's hard to tell them apart. I understand.
Those gray beards.
Hey, all I was saying, I just know Braden's not sending kids back to school. You know what I mean? So I was just like, and then that's where the topic was leading, and I was like, oh, now I gotta.
The topic was not leading
fourth
there.
wall and bring Rob in before I've introduced him.
The topic was not leading there. You just randomly, after introducing me, just shifted to kids. No,
I know. I was just some about it. Well, my kid's name is Braden. You know what I'm saying? So that
was your segue. That was in your head.
That place.
Hey, it's all good. All right. Well, hey, with that, welcome back to the show, Braden. It's great to see you, man. You good?
Thank you. I realize that you're on the spectrum. How's that working out for you?
It's great, man. It just depends on what side I'm on,
man. It's just a question of how much.
Exactly. I think everybody in the domain space is on the spectrum somewhere. It's just, my thing is I think I shift to different points of it at different times.
Depending on who you're with as well, right?
Like a squirrel.
Like you can buckle shit up real quick if you're with the right person.
Hey, there's value in that, you know what I'm saying, and being able to shift on the spectrum. This has gotten really off the rails, and we're not.
And you are quite red right now, and I'm loving observing this. It's more of a roast than it is a
exactly. Somehow I've lost full control.
It's not. It didn't get off the rails. It was never on the rails.
There were no rails. That's my secret cap. There are no rails. All right. Well, let's keep it moving because this was it's always fun, always good. But I don't know, Braden, you were freezing a little bit there. Let me see. I'm on the right internet. That's all that matters to me. So as long as I'm not freezing. But all right, let's keep it moving. Last but certainly not least, and this is what I meant about the pseudo special guest we've got on the show for the second time, but the first time doing a Domain Sherpa review. We've got the one and only Rob Schutz, aka Rob Report, aka Rob Roy, aka Snaggletooth, aka Snag Gonna Get the Bag, aka Rob Shuts It Down, shuts it down, aka Rob Shuts the Front Door, aka Rob's Bad Mother Shuts Your Mouth.
Oh my God. This is my favorite part of the show, JC. Thank you so much for that.
Hey, man. That's what I'm here for.
Great. Thank you for having me. Thank you for letting me interact with other human beings as well. I know there's a lot of decisions behind the scene, whether that's a good idea or not, but it's great to hang with everybody. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for sending the doctor's note that approved it. You know what I'm saying? So it's always good. And
you see, there's a lot of decisions behind the scene. There are no decisions behind the scene. He's just like, please, who will come on?
No, I thought he meant
that really devalues things for me. So
I didn't think he meant it that way. I thought he meant it like he needs to get like approvals from like doctors and medical professionals to be able to appear in public. So that's what I thought.
Usually it's the police. But anyways, it's great to be here amongst friends. So thank you for having me.
Oh yeah. Oh, you thought that's what this was? That's not awkward at all. But
taking it back.
Take it back. Well, what's up, bro? It's good to have you. All right. So, are your kids back to school?
My kids are not. My kids have been away because I have kids and I live in New Jersey. My kids have been away at summer camp for the last 7 weeks, and they just got back a couple of days ago. And we don't start school till after Labor Day, actually. So,
yeah, that's crazy, man. That's what I was saying. I know up north, where I'm from originally, and from where I
Pennsylvania,
I used to dwell. Yeah, PA, and well, I was in Jersey for 6 years, maybe, because that's where my wife's from. So, but, so all that stuff, man. We were in Tinton Falls, Red Bank, that area for a while. That's so
New Jersey,
man,
lovely. Well, it's great. It's great. We're so pleased to have them back. Slightly less efficient these days, but it's good.
Yeah, no, all good, man. Sleepaway Camp for the win, man. Let's go.
Big time.
All right. Well, that is it for the intro. Everybody's here and accounted for. Let's dive into some actual domain name talk. Let's do the domain game. Josh, you want to set it off with a buy or a sell?
Yeah, sure. I did a buy last week, so I'll do a sell.
Okay.
There's so many.
I know, obviously. Always pulling a Drew where he shows up and it's like, wait, what? We're doing the domain game? This is crazy. I've never heard of this.
You know that I sent an email 12 hours ago.
Exactly.
Yeah. I'm pulling a Drew.
You know we do this on every show.
I don't have any big ones in the last week, and it's never that. I don't know. Here's one. AresFunding.com. AresFunding.com. AresFunding.com.
AresFunding.com.
All right. We put the guesses go on the phone, Rob.
You know we put them on our telephone.
That's what we do. You use the calculator app. And then when we say 3, 2, 1, we flip it. If you actually watch the show, you'd know how this works, but it's fine.
What show is this again?
Exactly. Well, that was what was weird when your email and response was, what is Domain Sherpa?
Yeah.
But he heard Braden was going to be on, so that was actually...
When people put things in my calendar, I show up. All right.
I'll tell you, actually, it's funny. Well, we'll do... I'm going to get into it real fast. So I'm getting this kind of weird spam shit now where I actually am getting some weird meetings that are showing up in my calendar, and it's like not like AI, join this AI webinar of some shit I've never signed up for, which is really, really awkward. And it's like, I want to show up just to tell them to stop inviting me.
Yeah, that'll show them.
The AI is going to be like,
you know what I'm going to do to teach you to stop is I'm going to do exactly what you want.
All right, we're turning.
Exactly.
We're turning.
Let's go. Flip it. Ooh, okay. All right. We got Rob. For those of you who are only listening and not watching, Rob's at 6,500. I'm at 10,000, and Braden's at 12,500.
It was 4,888.
Ooh, so that means Rob with the point. Bam.
Oh,
knock the shot out. That.
Yeah,
All right.
I've been selling a lot of names at 4888 recently, and they all kind of follow a similar type of pattern, like strong keywords followed by like a suffix that represents a industry of some sort.
Yeah. Well, and we've talked about this and you've talked about it on the show. You do have certain words, I think you've said solutions and maybe you've said funding, blank funding, blank solutions, blank this, blank that. That's like a bit of a pattern for you.
Yeah. That's one of my that's kind of like my go-tos. There are a lot of them, right? So in the financial sector, you have finance, financial, funding, fund, capital. Those are the 5 main ones. And funding is probably the worst of those 5, but you can typically get better, let's call them SLDs, keywords, with worse suffixes.
Right.
And
yeah.
While
that's absolutely fair.
ARES doesn't necessarily look that strong on the surface, but it is very strong. So those do well.
Yeah. Well, isn't Ares the god of war or whatever? Isn't that
something like that?
Yeah. Greek god of war. It's
Latin names and
it's
Greek
direct.
names do very, very well as well, just in general. Some of my favorites.
Strong.
Actually, another thing I told you, Rob, is that I like Latin and Greek names. So it's one area of the domain game where I like to play.
Yeah, see, he wasn't lying to you.
Yeah.
Well, we'll put that one in the not lying column. Start to balance it out.
That's a balance.
Exactly right. All right, and Rob's got the point. So, how long did you have it for? What'd you pay for it?
It was either like a hand registration or a closeout. I think when I looked, I had it for about 2 years, maybe.
Okay, 2 years, turning about somewhere around.
Josh, when you get those types of inbounds, is your expectation someone is looking at Ares wildcard? They're looking at all the different suffixes, they're looking at different TLDs, does that play into your calculus for the price, where you're like, hey, I'm trying to be able to sell this for 25 because I see that Ares capital or whatever is available for 25. How do you think about pricing?
Yeah, so that type of name, I've now moved to pricing every single one of those type of names at 4888. 4888. And the way that you're thinking about it is actually part of my buying decision, as opposed to my pricing decision.
Got it. So how much you're willing to actually pay?
prior to buying AresFunding.com, one of the things that I would have done is I would have checked on Ares Finance, Ares Financial, Ares Capital, and if any of those were available to register, I probably would have just passed on it because it just said it wasn't like a sought after TLD. If they were priced, any of them were priced under 5K, again, I probably would just pass on it because then you've got competition with a better suffix.
Yeah.
Right. But if they're all taken, they're all in use or not for sale, then it's a viable option for me.
Got it. As long as it is not over a certain price threshold.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not paying more than like $50 for these type of names.
Yeah.
And ultimately, that was just to set the price, buy it now, and that was it, right?
And so I do the same kind of research if I'm looking at a alternative extension other than .com, so net, org, IO, etc. I look at what's happening with the .com, or if it's like a plural that has the same value, that sort of thing. Got to look at the competing names, if they're on better extensions or just a better iteration.
100%. Look, exactly. When you're investing in alternative TLDs, in my opinion, it's so important to look at what other TLDs are available in with that SLD, because if you're buying a .net or a .io and then the .xyz and the .co are priced super low, it makes it hard for you to ask a lot more money, because most savvy buyers, they're not, when they're venturing off into different TLDs other than .com, they normally have multiple options.
Yeah. And that's on the buy side, if someone's coming to us and they're like, Ares is the name, Like
Yeah.
usually they're like, Ares is a name, we're in financial service. We want something decent, right? Like we'll run it down. Same thing. We'll look at the prefixes, suffixes, other, I'd say secondary TLDs to see what the options look like. And if they're like way out of whack, it doesn't make sense, right? They don't care that much about that specific name. So I think it's smart on the pricing side, like has to be like cheap enough where it's like, sounds good. Like it doesn't make sense to go spend, 3x, 4x that on like a slightly better name even.
Right. Exactly.
But it's important as it relates to pricing, because if you're pricing alternative TLD, you've got a whatever, a .io, and you want 50 grand for it, but there's a co and an XYZ for 5,000, you're probably never going to sell the IO because people will be like, well, I'll just get the co because it's so much cheaper. So you have to look at the competing prices, especially when you're buying it. I mean, what if one of the other versions is available for hand reg, or somebody's got it listed for $500? You're just not going to make any money.
I'm curious, and not to take control here, JT, because we have so much content to get through. But like, Josh and Braden, when you're evaluating those and you see that they're taken but for sale without pricing, they're just like make an offer. How do you evaluate that as part of the decision-making process? Like if it's like Ares Financial and Ares Capital were both for sale, make an offer, would that play into how you think about?
No, so yeah, it would. In my mind, like, and don't forget, I'm doing this like fairly quickly at like some scale. In my mind, I consider make offer as essentially not for sale. Like, to me, make offer is creates so much additional friction compared to the ability to just hit a buy it now, that because there's no price at all on the make offer, there's no suggestion of whether it's, 5 grand, 10 grand, 20 grand, 100 grand. I just consider it not for sale. It doesn't play into my, if it's not listed on Afternic, for example, right? But it has a lander that says this is for sale. For me, that's not for sale.
If I'm looking at a .com, which is presumably the highest value, right, of all the TLDs, and all the other TLDs are for sale, whether they make offer or priced. There's a lot of competition, so I don't want to spend a ton of money in the .com, and there's a lot of alternatives out there, knowing that mine is going to be the most expensive. So that's definitely a factor that plays into whether or not I even want it. Right.
Yeah.
But they're all developed, right? They're all developed by end users. Then I've got a keyword that's in demand, and I've got a better version from an upgrade standpoint, and then from just new companies that come along and want that keyword. But if they're all available, then there's not a lot of usage. There's not a lot.
You're not going to get a premium on that if everything's available.
Yeah, and I think you make a really good point about use proving value, right? Obviously, like at the various aspects or variables or whatever. If something's got a price that's really high, do you look at that? Does that also sort of put it in that, hey, that's not truly for sale? If there's a price on it that's, just kind of absurd, you kind of look at that the same way?
Yeah, I mean, it helps me set my price. So if I've got a better version of that name and I can be competitive against that price, then it's not just price competitive, but from a perspective of it's a better name, it's more competitive.
Yeah, on these intricacies as well, it's worth mentioning that, like, when you're talking about high value names versus low value names, now it's a little bit of an adjustment. Like on a high value name that you're spending a lot of money on, like Braden's talking about, you want to actually see that stuff is not only not for sale, but actually in use. Like brands are using it as opposed to just like somebody's holding it. Well, on the smaller names where what you're looking for is like more just like churn and burn type sales, like for under 5K, it's not as important.
Okay. I think that all makes sense. That's good stuff, guys. A little secret sauce for everybody, So
got through one. We only been through one.
Yeah, so far,
12-hour podcast.
That's it. Hey, everybody, it's like Joe Rogan, so everybody just buckle up. You're in for a while. So put on the Depends and stay glued. Oh, I mean, you get to this age, but
Yeah.
all right, Braden.
Putting out there.
So speaking of this age,
Nice.
Braden, what do you got to buy or sell?
Oh, we're doing that.
You're still in the domain game. I know it's crazy.
There's been a lot of action lately. I've had a lot of offers, a lot of them that have declined, and a lot of sales. I mean, I'm like pretty much at average or a little bit higher than average of my annual sales already this year, and it's mid-August.
Nice. Yeah. Well, I mean, we knew you were killing it kind of earlier. We talked about some of the sword and a few of the other views.
Yeah, but even small names, even and names, there's been a handful of sales that I have not, unfortunately, I've not been able to report because of NDAs. But it's been pretty good. And then a lot of LTOs. I put a lot of on Domain Easy and Apnic. We put a lot of our sub $100,000 names available for 12-month LTOs, and that's proven to be pretty good. We've had a good, solid handful of those.
Great.
So,
which one you want to share? I mean, you telling me you got many to choose from?
All right, let's go with, this was just a few days ago, Speed.ai.
Ooh, it's a good one. Speed.ai. I love this name.
Josh, what's that little grin there? Yeah, what's going on there?
No, it's just a really good name.
Great.
Anytime I hear a good name, I just can't contain myself.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, ooh.
All right.
Ready? 3, 2.
Wait. Okay.
Oh, bang. All right. So Rob is at 135,000. I'm at 150,000, and Josh is also at 150,000.
You want to? Should me and you guess again?
Why don't we do this? One of us should take 100. You want the over or the under?
Are you giving me the choice, huh?
Also,
I'll take.
really even matter. So, what are we doing?
Well,
dude,
yeah,
stop. This is
life,
you.
Bro. It might be Rob. It might not matter. You know what? I'll take the over.
You'll take the over. Okay, so I basically got 149,999, and you got 150 and above.
I mean, statistically,
I know he gets a wider.
Over would be better, right? Than to be bracketed between 135 and 150.
Yeah,
but we know
depends,
that,
like, when we're talking about the pricing of these names, it's like, to me that 140 feels real good right now.
Oh yeah, let's see. This is exciting.
Although technically, I guess 140. You're not only that, you're losing. You're actually at 142. You're really even half that is your real window.
That's what I'm saying. It's a pretty small.
Well, that's because look, I'm the host. I can do what I want to do. I said I'm going to be the better person, and I'm going to give Josh the choice, and he chose correctly. Well, let's find out if he was actually right.
He was. So 165.
Ooh, okay.
And I had this underpriced. It was priced like, I don't know, a year and a half ago or something when I bought it. And when the offer came in, which was like 75 or something, he started at, I saw 165. I was like, oh shit, this is too low. And I repriced all my AIs at that point because they're all too low. I mean, there's a bubble. I think AI prices are gonna settle eventually, but right now they're high, so I'm going with it. I repriced it and then obviously declined his opening offer. And then he came back with he wanted a payment plan, and we were at something like 270, I want to say, over like 18 months. And but I said I'll honor 165 cash just because it was priced there. And ultimately, he didn't like the payment plan and came back and said, we're just going to pay cash.
Great.
But initially, he was going to take the payment plan, and they changed his mind and paid cash. So.
Where was it through? Was it through Atom?
It was on Atom, yeah.
And then
shout out to Zach because he did the negotiating on my behalf.
Nice. And then how much? What did you pay for it, and how long did you hold it?
$25,000, and I bought it in March of last year.
Did you say 25 grand?
25.
Yeah. I mean, hey, look, like,
That works.
yeah, I mean, that's a great sale. It's a nice result for you. Obviously you could have, maybe gotten a bit more, obviously, but it's still a very good sale. But it also
According
shows,
to you
look,
guys, though.
No, it's very good. It's very good. But
we
it's
were
just,
right.
it
We
goes
were
to
all
show.
like, we obviously were very like-minded where we thought you were.
But that's what it takes to buy a great .ai name even a year ago. 25 grand.
Well,
and listen, I bought a pile of them at like 25 grand each, but like stellar, like Castle.ai, like Legend.ai. I bought a bunch of good ones.
That was mine. Castle.ai was mine. I sold it to Andy. Andy sold it.
I love that name.
Yeah.
That name is fucking awesome.
I just turned down 75 grand for Octopus.ai.
Really?
So I paid
probably would have taken
some good ones, and so far, it's proven to be right.
Look, it's funny. We talk about .ais all the time on the show, literally every episode, and everybody knows where Drew stands, and and I do think if there's a bubble, sure, but doesn't seem to be slowing down anytime soon. So and I think there's still real value, and the names are cool, and they're useful, and they fit, and AI is still eating the world. So it's like, I don't know, just all makes sense.
Everyone who thinks that it's as simple as Braden makes it look, like you just decline the big offers, and then 75K decline Octopus.ai, and next thing you know, it's going to sell for 150. Yeah, doesn't work like that, guys. It doesn't work like that.
It totally works. That's exactly how
That's exactly how it works.
Every time I decline a big offer, they're like, "Oh, fuck you then," and then they come back and they offer half in like 3 months later.
Well, I think the bigger point was what you had mentioned, Josh, after Braden announced, just gave us all that info, is that but paying $25,000 for a very good, but yet alternate TLD. I mean, that's what it takes, right? And that's not necessarily easy. It's easy to see a $200,000 Speed.ai sale and think, damn, like I should be doing that. But
100%.
We're willing to put 25K up a year and a half ago. I mean, that's
it's all speculative, right? I mean, you have your convictions and your hypotheses, and AI obviously doing really well, but I'm sure you guys have also seen things go in the other direction and other TLDs that you invest.
100%.
So you see what works, but Braden with a big win.
Yeah, it is a big win. Look at the big win on Braden.
It is speculative when you're talking about alternative TLDs, which is why most of my portfolio is .com and one word .coms, because I don't think those are speculative at all. They're just cash intensive, right? So there's a lot of CapEx, but beyond that, they're going to hold their value. They're going to go up in value, and they're always going. They're going to sell eventually. Even if I need to wholesale them, I'm probably will be able to wholesale them for more than I paid, which I don't do. I just wait for the end user to come around. But I focus on that. I wouldn't say number of names necessarily, because there's a big value difference, right? If I'm going to spend $200,000 or $300,000 on one .com versus spending $3,000 or $4,000 on a .net, right? So I have a lot of those, but the margins are still the same.
Yeah. Oh, that's what's up, man. Well, good stuff. Congratulations. Nice work. And let's keep it moving. Rob, do you have a buy or a sell for the domain game?
Sorry, I kind of zoned out. What are we doing again?
Well, yeah, it's called the domain game. It's like a contest, hence the game.
Welcome to DomainSherpa. Who will speak first?
Thank you so much. Okay, I'm going to bring... So I'm kind of have a unique perspective here, because I do a little bit of buying and selling myself, but the vast majority of my transactions are brokering for buyers and some sellers. So I'm going to bring I'll bring one from, I guess it was now like a few months ago, but it's a fun one. It's a .ca, which you probably don't see a lot. Certainly not on this show.
No, not on this show. We're best of the best only.
So there's a good one though. It's pay.ca.
Ooh, dang, son. Pay.ca.
This is a broker deal?
Yeah.
You represented the buyer?
Correct.
Okay, pay.ca.
And I had to get permission this morning from both buyer and seller to talk about this.
Okay.
Oh, cool.
I put in work for you, JT.
Pay.ca.
I mean, but do we know anything? I mean, I don't know anything about the CA market.
No, but
There's
we're
nothing
gonna
to
find
know.
out.
These are the Sherpas.
I mean, I don't know anything about the CA market.
I don't know nothing about it. It's a good sale, eh? All right. Okay. This is all right. I'm ready.
Never gonna be
Jalen
better.
Hurts to AJ Brown. In the meantime. All right, ready? 3, 2, 1, flip. Okay.
All
All right.
Pretty
Yeah,
good.
so
Pretty good.
Josh is at 100,000. I'm at 160,000, and Braden is at 250,000.
Yeah. So the actual retail price, 150.
Yeah.
So you got one.
I actually was gonna do 150, but I'm like, I went 150 on the last one.
150 US.
Okay, yeah.
That's cheap.
It was a pretty good deal. Pretty good deal. The
you did well
owner
for your buyer.
did well for buyer. The seller also did well. He had the name since like back in the early 2000s. He never used it. He had like an idea to build something. There was nothing out there. And then when I approached him, it was a good back and forth, but he was a super nice guy up in Canada. He was like open to a sale. Hard to get good comps
Yeah.
on this one. There was like a pay.com.au that was like a comp out there, but I was like, I don't know. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know that market very well either. But in general, I'm a fan of short character names that rhyme. Like, I think there's actually a lot of value in rhyme, like Row.co. Like, I'm a big fan of it.
Row.co, baby.
I think Row is like the best possible .co because it's so short and it rhymes. And like pay.ca is pretty dope as well for that reason as well.
What about Ho.co? It's pretty good too.
What, Ho.co?
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of, if we're just going to start rhyming, there's a lot of
Yeah, we're going to rap. Hey, look, you want me to freestyle. Shit.
Hey,
but
yeah,
it was a great deal. They're doing it over like, I don't know, 36-month payment plan.
Okay.
I mean, that's a steal, honestly. Yeah. Because what's pay.com worth? We're talking what, $5 to $10 million?
Yeah,
at least. Yeah.
I mean, it's a high 7-figure. I mean, if it sold for $10 million, I wouldn't be surprised, right?
Yeah, agreed. So, I think it's an 8. Actually, that's an 8-figure to me.
So
there's no market for .ca names. That's
right. But what I'm saying is, but what my logic was, all right, if the com is worth, let's say, 5 million on the low end, then 5% maybe for the .ca. And that's where I came up with 250. But
I think it's more honestly about, you need a very specific buyer for that type of name, like that has, and they are going to be a Canadian company that is not looking to expand internationally. They're like Canadian all the way. Yep. That is a tough name, I think, to bring outside of Canada. You have to upgrade. Like, you can't go global or expand in the United States and have a .ca. So I think that has to be priced in as well, where it's just
100%.
like,
yeah, I actually think, and keep in mind, Braden, you know this as obviously as a big seller of domains, right? You know what the demand is on your names, right? And we talk about this on the show a lot because I'm often surprised when somebody talks about a really good name and they're like, and I've gotten literally no offers on this name for the amount of time that I've had it. So, it'd be interesting to talk to the seller to see, what the level of offers and interest had been if they've had the name for so long. My guess is it's probably not that much, and I think that plays into it too, because it's like, my guess would be that this $150,000 offer was the most legit offer they probably had ever received on the name. And, so I think that plays into it, right? That's the context that they have, is knowing, hey, I've had this name for 10 years and no one's really expressed that kind of interest in it. And I'm at a point where I wouldn't mind taking $150K off the table for a name that I'm not using that is so niche, to Rob's point. So anyway, that's my thought. But I think it's a good deal for the buyer still. But I don't think
it's a great deal and a 3-year payment plan. Like,
well, that's true, yeah.
Let me give
great for your buyer.
Let me just give a little context here because I think it's helpful. And a little shout out to DNX. If I go to DNX and look for the .ca names, like incredible SLDs for like less than 10 grand. Incredible. Like crowd.ca or like liquid.ca or tool.ca, grid.ca, karma.ca, scout.ca, earth.ca, cybersecurity.ca, 9 grand. Like that's,
and that goes back to the whole conversation we had earlier about, this idea of comparable and competing options, which I think is great insight from you guys, because when you talk about how you price both on the buy side and on the sell side, and take that into consideration. But I think that's great context too. And big shout out to DNX. So.
But I mean, like, it doesn't mean that, like, I think that pay.ca 150 grand, in my opinion, I think that's like good buy and a good sale, in my opinion. I think, like, I genuinely think that those are the type of transactions that are just like win-wins, because there's no aftermarket for .ca names, like, unlike .com and most other popular like TLDs. Like, there's a pretty clear aftermarket, but there's just no liquidity in those names. So if that seller wanted to sell pay.ca, they're probably getting, like, I don't know, 10 grand, like, best case.
What's interesting, I agree with you. What's interesting is, like, right after we closed the deal, or I think as we were in escrow, there was like an announcement that Shopify bought shop.ca for like 500 grand or something, like a really big number. It was like shop.ca.
See, that makes more sense to me, because Shop is also a great SLD like Pay is.
But I think that was owned by like a merged commerce or like some much bigger company. So I think that came down to like, how much did it cost to pry it away? But it was just interesting. Like, all of a sudden there was this big comp, and he was like, "Oh, look at this," and I was like, "No, don't worry."
Yeah, don't look over there.
Honestly,
to your buyer, you're like, "See what kind of deal I'm getting you."
Yeah,
to the seller, you're like, "Don't look at the man behind the curtain."
If there weren't restrictions on .ca names, there would be a better market for .ca names.
Oh. Well, I just think it's so regional.
Yeah, well, also you need to, just like .com.au, you need to have like a presence in Canada, right, to even like own or trade these names. I believe.
I don't even know.
Pretty sure you do. So, like, same thing with .com.au. Like, if you need to have like some sort of presence or entity.
The nexus requirement.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Exactly.
It's funny. We've obviously been doing this for a long time. I don't know exactly. I know .us has the nexus requirement. I don't know about, I guess .ca does. But either way, look, I think it's, to your point, Josh, I think it's a win-win. I think that it was a good price for the seller. I think it was a good buy for the buyer. And I think it's a fucking awesome name for a Canadian company doing payment stuff. It's like, they literally hit a home run with their name. So good stuff. Good work, Rob. Nice job.
Hey, thank you. I'm just looking for your approval. So
exactly. Well, you got it. Hey, but here's where we are though right now. So Josh, myself, and Rob each have a point. Braden, you don't. So if you don't mind, if you could provide another buy or sell so that we could do a little overtime round to pick a winner here. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're going to see. This is where it gets really real.
The points for
championship round. You got to get the win, man. You got to want the win, Rob.
I want it.
I mean, I'm competitive.
Like, I'm refused to get off this without a trophy.
I got to get one of those hats.
What, the one of these? This is not Sherpa related, man. This is a Florida thing. This is actually this brand.
I want your hat.
Okay.
Exactly. I don't care. I just want that. Actually, I'm a huge fan. So this brand is they're headquartered like on Josh's street, basically. So it's called Alter Ego Running. I really am a big fan of their stuff. So.
Oh yeah, Alter Ego, yeah.
But yeah, they're in your neighborhood, Josh. Good people.
Right, I'm gonna get back to the main game.
Oh, nice. Yeah, let's do domains.
You want to talk about something? You want to talk about your shoes now or anything else?
Dude, man, I got Fresh Kick Friday, baby. I got kicks. What do you want to talk about?
All right. This is an LTO.
Okay.
So, disclaimer: I haven't gotten all the payments yet, so it is what it is. But this is what it's sold.
Fine. Nobody watches the show anyway. No one cares.
That's true. Okay. StrikeTeam.com.
Ooh, StrikeTeam.com. All right, let's go. StrikeTeam.com. And we just have to guess the sales price. We're not trying to guess the term of the LTO. That'd be like some next level bonus round. Like, you have to guess like how many months and what the monthly
12 months.
Exactly. Like that's the way you end up. If we have two people that are tied for this one, you have to guess the LTO details. All right, StrikeTeam.com.
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 Stop looking for comps, Rob. Gee.
I
That's like,
don't
see his
know,
face
man.
lighting up on the computer. He's trying to
no,
fuck around on name bio. Cut it out, Rob.
No, I'm doing something completely unrelated.
Right?
Oh, welcome back to the show then.
I don't know.
Here we go. What
I
you
don't wanna
got?
go.
All right.
Where's the
Turn
phone?
around. Let's
All
see.
right, here we go. 3, 2, 1. Oh, man. All right. Josh is at 28,888. I'm at
I think
30,000.
Braden marks it up high
He
for
does. He's
for
not.
an
He's not.
LTO.
Yeah. And then Rob's at 55,000. Yeah. Braden is not a fire sale kind of guy. So
Keep talking. It was 15 grand. You guys are all
it's a
over.
big win. And he really only got the win because he did the fucking took the over on the earlier round. So in a way, I'm kind of the winner. You know.
Here's this is what you guys forget about me, and I've said this before. I will pick up small names if I can get the right price, and then I put a fair markup, what I think is a good price for the name, and I let them turn. I don't try to moonshot everything, especially the small stuff, because I feel like these like I didn't remember that on StrikeTeam. It just sells. It's like free money.
Yep.
Braden,
So
whenever I reach out about a name, though, that's not what you say.
that's exactly the opposite when you reach out.
Yeah.
This is everything that I own.
It's like, I want you to remember
That
this.
name that you're asking about.
Forgot about Bray.
Then see the list, and he says plus
Nowadays,
20.
everybody want to talk like they got something to say.
I just add the Schutz premium.
Yeah, another 0 on the end.
Yeah, the shut 0.
All right. I've had this name for 5.5 years.
Okay.
I paid $1,231 for it.
Oh wow. Okay. I mean, that's solid. It's a solid, 10 plus X. And where'd you have it listed? Was that an Afternic or Adam? Where'd you have it at?
That was an Afternic LTO.
Yeah. All right. You said
Which
it was
I think
LTO.
the lander was actually Domain Easy, and they went through Afternic.
Okay.
Could have gotten
But-
an LTO at Domain Easy. So.
But here's the thing. You've had the name for 5 years. This goes back to what I was saying a little bit around pay.ca. It's like, what the demand of that name is and what kind of offers and interest, if any, right? So, you have it sitting there, and it goes into your whole pricing piece too. When you guys were talking about, the process you go through, if you've got a name sitting for a long time at a certain price and nothing's happening, and you lower the price.
It sounds like this is just more of like your bucket of churn and burns, Braden, right? We're good deal. Here's fair price. Throw it over to the landers and see what happens. Right?
It was a cheap name. I put it up. I don't think I ever repriced it, and there was no conversation. There's no offer. They hit the bin, and it's done. Or not. They didn't hit the bin, but hit the LTO. Put in their credit card. That was the end of it. And honestly, I didn't even remember that I owned this name. So I mean, I like to just price names at a price point where I think it'll sell.
Sure.
And if it's enough of a margin, in this case obviously is enough. I got more than 10x, and so let it go.
Boom. All right, well, good stuff, and congratulations to Josh for winning the domain game. So I thought Rob had a shot. He got the first point and didn't get another one after that. But
I'm aware.
MediaOptions is the industry's leading domain broker specializing in domain acquisitions, high-value domain sales, and domain name consultation. As pioneers and thought leaders on the subject of the domain aftermarket and domain name value, plus through their clear domain acquisition service, MediaOptions offers startups and established corporations an unparalleled scope of high-value domain options, providing access to domain names and curation technologies not available elsewhere. MediaOptions believes in the power of a great domain name and is dedicated to helping you obtain yours. Call or email today to put a domain to work for you.
All right, well, that's what's up. Let's keep it moving. We've got about 30 minutes left, if that. So we'll get on our hustle here a little bit. We've got the NameJetGonnaJet segment coming up, where we review a list of domains coming up for auction on NameJet. We see what the Sherpas like and what they don't like. Actually, it's more like 15 minutes because I know, Rob, you said you were a little tight on time.
That's all right. Let's see where the afternoon takes us.
Yeah, let's see.
Wait, hey JT, are we? Is portfolio review coming back by popular demand? I remember talking about this at some point.
Yeah, I mean, we could. We can do anything we want.
Why don't we pick a charity and there's like a fee, something, $100 or some small number to do a review, and they have to make a charitable donation.
I like it. So yeah. So hey, now since this has gone through a lot of conversation and we've been thinking about it for a while, we are now introducing the return of portfolio reviews. What we're going to do is you're going to pay us $100 to review your portfolio. We're going to be honest though. Just so you know, it's going to
Be out there on the internet.
Be ready for it. But send us. We'll review at least 10 names. A list of 20. We'll talk about 10 at least, and then we will take that $100 and we will donate to a charity. We'll figure out.
I've got a great nonprofit if we're interested.
So. No.
Okay.
Listen.
How
about they can choose the charity? They make the donation. They get the write-off, and they just have to show proof of the donation.
Seems like a lot of steps, but I'm just a guest here.
Exactly. It seems like we did add some extra steps.
Steps for the Sherpa crew, though.
Yeah. But, otherwise, then they send it to us. Who do they send it to? Then we have to make the donation.
Oh, that's fair. Yeah. That's true. Unless, or we at least tell them where to send it, So we say it's the charity of our choice. So that way they're not like, oh, I sent it to my cousin.
I'm the board chair for
I like that.
I'm the board chair for a homeless shelter here in New Jersey. It's called Isaiah House, isaiahhouse.org. So I can make a nice landing page if we want. I'm just putting it out.
I love that. That's what we're doing. Okay. That's what it's going to do.
Or, sorry, Rob, I just had another idea. What about a donation to the ICA?
Oh, that's kind of cool too. I like that.
We could do like.
Oh, now I'm torn.
Like 1 week, one. I mean, you guys are both on the board, so you're going to be torn on that one. But we could do like 1 week this, next week that.
Yeah, I like that. All right. Yep. Isaiah's house is definitely on the list. ICA is on the list. All right. So we're going to do portfolio reviews. We've decided. It has been decided. It shall be done. And can someone second it? Second it.
Oh, I second it.
And that's it. Look at that. Portfolio reviews are back on Sherpa. Tell somebody.
This is how the magic happens.
Yeah, this is exactly. Drew's going to be like, what are we doing? I didn't like, it doesn't matter. It happened on the show.
For one goddamn week.
This is a lot of work. This is a lot of work for Josh. He's got to get off now and go to bed.
Yeah, he's reached his point of.
Nah, he's got pickleball practice in an hour or so, I'm sure.
No, I skipped it today for this.
Wow.
Oh, nice, man. Well, we appreciate that. All right. Well, look, we got the NameJet list. If you go to, but jokes and quips aside, we will start doing the portfolio reviews again. We absolutely will do it to benefit, a nonprofit, ICA. Like I said, Isaiah House. Is that what it is? Isaiah House.
Singular. IsaiahHouse.org. Yeah.
IsaiahHouse.org. Love it. And look, let's make a positive difference. We might even decide to make it a little bit more expensive or come up with a way. I'd love to really, I love the idea of helping, or maybe we'll even match it, kind of thing.
We're leaning in. I love it.
Do it. Absolutely. 100%. So more to follow on that, but hit me up on Twitter, hit the Domain Sherpa account on Twitter if you want to submit your portfolio. And we'll probably create emails for that, something like submissions@DomainSherpa.com. But that's not it. Maybe it is. I don't know. See? And we're going to go from there, but it's going to be good. Looking forward to it. Now, speaking of a portfolio of domains to review and talk about, we got the NameJetGonnaJet segment. If you go to the Domain Sherpa show page, you can go into the show notes and you can download the Excel spreadsheet, which will give you the Esterbot appraisal. Take that with a grain of salt. How many back orders as of the time that we put the list together, the order by date, which is when you need to be involved if you want to participate, and just some other helpful information. So hopefully that helps. Remember, this is not financial advice. You may even be bidding against us in these auctions, but don't bid on things we say we like. And but entertainment purposes only. All right, well, let's keep it moving. Rob, I'm going to start with you, dude, because you are the pseudo special guest. Very excited. You got.
I like how it started as special. Did it start as special guest, and now I'm pseudo special guest?
You were a special guest the first time, and by the next show, it's just, hey guys, this is Rob.
This is Rob. Follow me on Twitter.
He sleeps on the couch.
Yeah,
like a dude in Half Baked. Oh,
not the Bob Saget character.
No, hey. But yeah, so what's good? So you got the list in front of you. What do you like?
Yeah.
Like?
I mean, some great names on here. I mean, the ones that stood out to me that I really liked, I liked Lancer. Lancer.com. I thought it was a good one. A lot of brands using that name. There's a skincare brand. There's a video game. There's like a TV series. There's an insurance company. So like obviously a lot of people using. A couple of the TLDs are for sale, but at decent prices, and it's kind of the winning name. So I thought that was a pretty good one.
Okay. It used to be the name of a car. Dodge used to make the Dodge Lancer, like a little like an equivalent to like a Ford Tempo, if you remember that car from back in the day. The Dodge Lancer.
Well, if they want to bring it back, they'll need the .com, obviously.
Rob is only sharing data points that are relevant and meaningful.
So you're saying mine weren't. I crashed a Dodge Lancer.
It's a different strategy than what you're doing.
Not only did I crash a Dodge Lancer, but a friend of mine ended up in the hospital with like low-grade amnesia because we never wore seatbelts. This goes back to like when we wouldn't wear helmets on the bikes. It was driving me, my buddy, his girlfriend was in shotgun. We were driving on this windy road in Pennsylvania, and they didn't have a great set of stop signs, or they let you know the stop signs were coming. Pulled out. I had my license for a whole 2 weeks, maybe. Pulled out into this like mountain road. I hit the guardrail. Hood flies up in my face. Tires both pop. I overcorrect. I go into the other guardrail, pop the other tires, and then I see headlights kind of coming. So I got to turn the wheel this way and take it back into the original guardrail. At which point the car finally. Yeah, we were pretty lucky. And then the cops show up and they're like, "How much have you had to drink tonight?" And my buddy's like, "I don't remember." And they thought he was drunk, but really it was like he straight up just because he was, bang, bang, like one of those kind of things. He wasn't that bright to begin with, though, so I don't know that it really.
This was in a Dodge Lancer.
This was in a Dodge Lancer, baby.
All right, I understand that's some personal.
Yeah. Oh, hell yeah. See, so data points. Continue.
Wow, I'm glad you're okay.
Thank you. Yeah.
Well, you appear to be okay.
It's a relative.
Or it explains a lot.
Explains a lot.
Yeah. The other one that I liked here, which is probably, I don't know if it's lower value or not, but I really like Baltica. I think the history there is it was like a paleocontinent. It was like the early portions of Earth before the continents formed. I just like that it's like very pronounceable. Radio test passes. Baltica, you could see that as a pretty nice open vessel for a lot of different companies.
Yep. A lot of cool brand potential.
I think that's not lower value. I think it's probably a 6-figure retail name.
So what do you think it sells for on NameJet?
Well, now that we've opened the floodgates.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, 10 grand.
A lot more than 2 minutes ago.
Yeah, 10-ish feels.
Yeah, you're welcome, NameJet.
Good. I was saying, Josh, more like versus a Lancer, where like comparing those two, maybe Lancer there's a lot of upgrade potential from that one, and a lot of companies are already using it. Baltica does have there's a bunch of TLDs that are available for that one, but obviously the .com being the premium there.
Yeah, agreed. Low value to me is like $10.
Hey,
all good. All right, cool. So Rob, any others before you pass?
I mean, those are two that I really liked, and I don't want to steal anyone's thunder. So I'm good.
That's all good. Yeah. Well, when
thunder right now.
What's that?
It's your thunder right now.
Oh wow, I'm stealing my own thunder.
Those
are two I like the most. I mean, Mime.org, just because I'm generally a Mime fan, so that's me personally. But no, those are two I like.
All right, cool. All right, well, who wants to go next? Braden?
Mime.org could be good for raising money for all the mimes out there who make no money because they're mimes.
They make about as much money as the sound that they make, so there's a direct correlation. But shout out to all the mimes, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think many of our listeners are mimes.
They wish we were mimes, you know what I'm saying?
I think that they're, these one-word comms, they're names, right? Jaeger and Canoga and Baltica, Astana. I mean, these are names. So they're all brandable. They'll have some value. They're all going to go for at least a few $1,000 each. So I think those are good. It's a good store value. They will eventually sell, but they're probably long holds. I would dig into all of those and look at the TLDs, look at the other what's for sale and what prices before you just jump in and throw a ton of money at it. I'll let Josh talk about the more brandable stuff like Inner Sky and those kinds of names. Polarity and PrivateClasses, I think, are decent too.
Okay, man. Well, now you've talked about like 7 names, so
No, I just kind of threw them out. I didn't go deep.
good job. Good job. That's a lot of the
Sounds
names.
like you're
It's
really
that's
just reading the list.
yeah, that's the Drew approach where you talk about all the names and then you're like, "What do you mean I didn't leave? What do you mean I didn't leave any for anyone else?" You know, that's crazy.
But I didn't go
Like, you know,
deep.
we record the show, right? Like, you know, it's on tape. And he's like, "That didn't happen." It's like, gaslight me, motherfucker.
It's the Trump approach. You know, it's all.
What do you
Just
What do you think, Brent? Maybe I don't want to derail, and Josh, I know you're chomping at the bit here to get
He's
going.
never been on the race.
But like,
Derail.
what do you think about something like PrivateClasses? Like, how do you think about a lot of your names are brandables, right? That you buy, especially on the .com side. How do you think about more keyword domains? Like, is somebody naming their company PrivateClasses? Maybe, probably not. But how do you like think about the difference between those two and how you value them on the buy side?
Who are you asking this?
PrivateClasses, like the first thing I think about is like mastermind type stuff, right? Like that for me would be like the most obvious case, but why did mastermind choose mastermind and not PrivateClasses or whatever? I don't know. The first thing I think about when I see like those exact match type names is long hold. So first thing that comes to my mind, long hold. They just, and also ROI, long hold and ROI. And the reason why I think about ROI is because they go for way too much at wholesale relative to how well they do at retail, in my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah. And we've seen that on the sales side as we've been helping people want to sell some of their names. Like these exact match keyword, like longer tail names are tougher to command premium prices around. Like the dynamic is shifting a little bit on search. And like there's exceptions to that 100%. There's great sales that happen in that world, but harder to get much higher premium prices on the keyword names from what we've seen with some of the shift in search and the way that people are thinking about, you know, how they allocate.
Yeah. I don't think it's
ever had a
great
buyer
name.
come. Have you ever had a buyer say, "Hey Rob, like I need to go out and get my like industry matching
EMD.
EMD"?
Yeah, we've had a couple. But usually it's one words. Like usually where it's like a hotels.com style where it's kind of both, where it's like the brand and the category winning term. Multi-word much less often.
Yeah, well, what I can say too is that when it's a company's brand and they're moving from like a alternate TLD to a .com or something, and it's a descriptive sort of EMD, if you will, you know, we definitely see that. In fact, we're working on one right now. But you know, it's an interesting question. Like, Rob, do you have a lot of clients though looking to buy exact match domains if it's not related to their actual brand? Like, okay, if a company is privateclasses.ca and they're like, hey, we want the .com, right?
Yeah.
We have plenty of that, right? I don't know that we have any clients currently, any clients currently trying to get an exact match domain that's not directly on point to their brand, like an upgrade or something.
Yeah.
You know?
And that happened all the time too. Like people would pitch me. I get pitched probably from some of you guys in years past where it's like, hey, for Roman, it's like edmedication.com or like you want to buy anxiety.com or hairlossmeds.com. It's like, no, not really. Like, what am I going to do with that? Are you going to set up like an SEO shop and build content out and try and like lead?
But that used to be a thing.
Totally used to be a thing. But just much less common now. It's
Is
like
it a thing anymore, Braden? I mean, you deal with it on the legal side and some of the other stuff that you do. I mean, is search dead? I mean, are we still buying domains related to search?
It's not dead, but it is so hard now to build up that SEO juice. So to build it up across a bunch of sites, it's just not worth the juice isn't worth the squeeze, right? So
That's
much better off You're much better off focusing on one or a few brands as opposed to a whole bunch. But I think there is some value if you can get them cheap enough to pick up some.
Being them cheap enough.
And what you're doing is it's defensive, right? You're just keeping them away from your competitor, right? And there's usually some value to it, right? There's some direct navigation, not a ton anymore, but there's some, right?
Right.
And
Well,
you can put up a lander, like a thin site, and not do much work on it. You'll get a little bit of traction. So there's some value, but just not a ton.
Yeah. I don't think people are paying a ton of money for those names for the potential to have a bit of upside, right? Like, totally agree, Braden. Like, you'd rather focus on one, build your domain authority around one name. It's hard enough to do that for one versus now we're doing it across all these different sites. So I think it comes back to pricing, right? If someone offered one of those names, it's like a couple $1,000, maybe it's worth taking a shot on it. But it's like we have some of these on the sales side too, where people are like, I want $1 million. It's like the category winner. It's like people aren't really buying at that level for these types of names right now.
They're not the buyer either, though, right? It's like the buyer for these names is the new company that wants to position themselves in a way that gives them a leg up at the beginning when the brand is, because if you pick a brand, right, out of nowhere, let's say it's Paradigm, right? You're starting off as Paradigm that nobody has a clue what you do and who you are and where you come from. But if you start off with for example, I own cryotherapy.com. If you're in like the wellness space and you're in like cryotherapy, if you start off as cryotherapy.com, it's like, okay, I know what you do. Like, it can be a brand and it is the exact match for that. And
it needs to be the crossover of it is both a brand and a category winning term, right? Like, you couldn't own cryotherapy online, like cryotherapy online, and well, maybe that's a bad example. Like ED medication online. That's not a brand, right? That's no one's going to name you would much rather be Paradigm than you would be ED Meds online and pay the additional money in marketing to get people to know who you are. But that's where I think there's still value, is like, it's the category winning name and or term, and it's brandable, right? Yeah. It's like,
that's why one of the names you mentioned, and when you were throwing a few out that I would push back a little bit, would be like anxiety.com, and because I think, to me, that's a name that can be a brand. It's such a great, it's a one, we're talking one-word.coms, but I agree with you. I think when you start getting into ED medication online, best ED meds, shit like that. Well, maybe even best might be, a brand of books.
That anxiety was more
good if you're starting a brand. Like Row.co is never going to change to anxiety.com. Like, that's not going to be their brand. So then it's like you said, even though it would make, for a new company, it would make a good brand, it's not going to make any difference to a company that's already established their brand.
Yeah.
It's much more valuable for a new company that it is going to use it as
which means that it never makes sense to sell it to anyone that's not looking to use it as a brand, essentially.
Right. But then you're also in this catch-22 where it's like, then you're working on early stage companies that are trying to pick a brand that have less money. And so you're probably not going to get this huge payout that you thought you were going to get selling it to big public company.
But as a guy that founded a company like Row.co, is something to be said about choosing an exact match category killer name to get you started in a way that gives you an advantage over the competition?
Kind of like let them know what you do type of thing.
Maybe.
Like, does it give you more authority? Does it give you the ability to go out and raise more money? Does it give you the ability to acquire customers cheaper? I don't know. I think it does. But
it can, but I don't think it's like universal. Like, there's plenty of examples. I won't name them, but I have a buddy that owns like a really good 5-letter.com, and they sell widgets on there. And he bought it with the expectation of like, this is going to be a winner in terms of brand and conversion. And it just hasn't been. Like, they haven't been able to turn the corner on it. It has powered SEO as like a huge acquisition engine. It's driven down acquisition costs. Like, it just hasn't worked out. There's other examples where it certainly has, but I don't think it's like one size fits all for these things.
It's very interesting. And I think as we enter into this new world of, answer engine optimization, I think that becomes a really key aspect here, because it's like, as people are doing much more search on, Grok and ChatGPT and everything else, and how you rank and, how you're getting your results and how you're getting found on those kinds of things. I don't know. I guess if exact match domains become, sort of a bit of a cheat code for that, then there could be a bit of a resurgence. But otherwise, I do think you're right. I think so much of the activity that we're seeing in domain sales over this past year and whatever is so brand heavy for sure. So I think that's all fair points. All right, Braden. So I think you had already mentioned almost every word on every name on the list. I'll keep that in mind next time when I'm picking out the order of who's going to talk when. Josh, do you want to talk about the two names he didn't mention?
Sorry, Braden, I love you, man. It's all good. And you didn't pick out the names that I was going to talk about anyway. I was going to talk about Astana.com.
Okay.
I think that for me is my favorite name on the list, actually. So I think it's pretty widely used brand. I think like primarily when you type it in, I think it's like the capital of Kazakhstan, but there is a decent amount of brand usage as well. And it kind of sounds and looks like a brand if you didn't know it was the capital of Kazakhstan. So I like that name. I think it's a good name.
Yeah, well, there's Asana is I think a company of project management type thing.
Asana without the T, yeah.
Yeah, Asana.
Yeah. I don't know.
How do you think about that though, Josh? Like, yeah, capital of Kazakhstan. Good, bad, neutral? Like, does that matter?
Borat loves it.
Honestly, I think the fact that
it is nice.
I don't.
It's nice. I'm sorry, I can't help but interrupt Josh.
Yeah. I actually don't think it matters that much with this name. I don't know. What do you think? It's not like,
I don't have a firm opinion. I think like it's one of those though where you are going to have to fight a little bit on the SEO side, right? So like you want to make sure you can show up first for your brand term. Not to say you couldn't with that one, you very easily could, but it is just like another fight you will have to take on, where early on investors, other people looking for your brand, and it's like first 10 results are about Kazakhstan, and it's like the end of the world, but it's just like another pain in the ass.
Yeah, I agree. It might be quite hard to rank on page 1 for that, just because of the cat. I do agree with you. Page 2, you start to get some other things, but yeah, you're probably right.
I mean, I agree. It's a really good word. It passes a lot of the tests. I just think about it in relation to like, I think it's a bad sign, especially early on. If people can't find you pretty quickly on first couple search results, like it's just another hand tied behind your back.
Yeah, that's a really interesting point. Well, and it's interesting because then you compare it to a name like Baltica, right? Because Astana and Baltica to me are kind of very similar. Where that's I would not have looked at it like that. So Rob, I think that's a very, very interesting angle. And obviously as somebody who's, founded a, big business that has had to fight through search and, and gain visibility and market share and all that kind of stuff, you've been through it. Yeah, I would look at those two as relatively empty vessels for a relatively similar type of brand, could almost be anything. But the idea that, hey, this will be a lot harder to build and rank for compared to something that, might be a little bit easier, I think is a very interesting sort of exercise that I don't think a lot of folks go through when they're buying domains. But
yeah, so like, I that's a really interesting topic to me though, because let's go back to the usage of a brand like the best, most expensive SLDs, right? Paradigm. Let's go with Paradigm. It's going to be hard to rank for Paradigm because there are dozens and dozens of pretty big businesses that are simply called Paradigm. In fact, there are hundreds. In fact,
when you're saying that, you mean like getting the .com?
No, I mean like
saying if you were going to buy the .com, you'd have to go through the same thought process. Like we're talking
but I'm saying, you're comparing that to like, you're saying getting the .com, you'll still have to go through that process.
Right, yeah.
Well, the way I think about it, and I'm wrong about a lot of things here, but is like if you're going to pony up to buy Paradigm.com, you're also going to put an aggressive marketing strategy together. You're going to invest in SEO. You're going to have a search strategy, and likely someone who specializes in organic search on the team, or at least an agency. So like you're not tiptoeing in because you're probably paying a couple $1 million for that type of asset in the same way you might on some of these other ones where it's like you're just trying to get up and live and get your Shopify store, humming. But like, do you buy Paradigm? A lot of my clients who are buying big 7-figure names, they have a strategy around search. And you're not wrong. It'll take time. You have to produce content. You have to do backlinking. You probably are producing a lot of content. You're doing cross-linking in the site. You're working on domain authority. That's like a KPI that you're probably focused on internally as a team. But it doesn't mean it's easy. It's just more about like resourcing and what is harder to do and takes more effort and resourcing, and what is something that you could more naturally almost like fall your way into because there's less competition.
Yeah. So does someone does a client come to you and say like, I've got a total budget for like brand enhancement and, I don't want to, and like, it's not fully allocated to this domain. Like we're gonna have to do X, Y, and Z.
I mean, not usually, but usually the price that they're willing to pay on a name is proportionally related to how much they'll be able to invest in that stuff overall. If someone's willing to spend $3 million on a name, that's probably not all of their raise. They probably have more money.
Right.
They're tagging towards a lot of these other types of things. But yeah, it's not usually like, hey, we have $5 million to get on the map. Let's put half of that towards a domain and half towards an agency to like rank on organic search. It's rarely that, but it's usually a byproduct of like serious company, serious dollars that they can apply towards this type of stuff.
Very cool. Yeah, that's great insight.
It was really the way to substantiate shitting on your choice of name, Josh.
Listen, man.
Well,
if someone's going to buy a Stana, they're going to have to put a lot of money into the SEO, I guess.
That's it. More than they would if they get Baltica.
Apparently.
What else? What else you like or don't like?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a big fan of the .orgs. I want to like them, but they're not great ones. If I'm buying .orgs, I'm trying to go for slightly more premium .org names than this. If you get taken.org or polarity.org for a few $100, you're definitely not going to get hurt. But they're not names that I would go after. And then, ComfortSystems is just like cool. Again, I would spend a couple $100 on it, but it's not a name that I would go out of my way to try and buy.
Can I ask the group something about like a ComfortSystems? This is me just selfishly learning how you handsome investors operate. So something like ComfortSystems, there's one really big company in that space. They're like $7 billion. I don't even know exactly what they do. They're a big company. They're a big company.
It's probably the industry is going to be sleep.
This one is mechanical, electrical, and plumbing systems. ComfortSystemsUSA.com.
Yeah.
So, but I'm curious. Like, use that as proxy for just this type of question. How do you think about names when there's like one really clear upgrade, but then they're almost so big that no one else is going to buy that name unless those guys do, right? Where it's like, I want to buy this, and then if they say no, I'm just kind of screwed, right? Like, how does that work? How do you think about that? Because
I stay away from it. If there's one buyer, because it's an upgrade for them, and no one else is going to touch it because of them, I stay away from it. Because if they don't buy it, you're stuck.
Yeah,
it's too much of a gamble. I'd rather have multiple potential buyers.
Yeah, and to tag onto that, I think it's also a question of the pricing, right? So if you can get ComfortSystems at a relatively cheap price where you're not dependent on that big buyer, like to me, until you mentioned that there was a company, I didn't know they existed, right? And because I hadn't done any real due diligence on the list, but a name like this, when we would talk about it internally, right? To me, when I think ComfortSystems, I would have thought AC, like a local trade, like an AC company, local AC company calling themselves ComfortSystems. Maybe they pay 10.
I think bedding, sleep.
Yeah, which is also good too, But I guess my point is right. So, if I'm thinking of end user pricing for this name without knowing about that big buyer, what would you guys put it at? 25,000? Would you put it more than that?
Yeah, this thing is like when there's one big buyer like that.
Ignore the big buyer. Like they don't exist. What are you listing this name for sale for?
Yeah. For me, $29,888. What
about you, Braden? Since Josh wasn't really exact.
I mean, I would be half that. I'd be at 15. But again,
so
I mean,
that's great because that's kind of to my point, right? So I'm saying this is a $25,000 retail name. That's kind of where I would have pegged it. So it's somewhat similar, but so that would be without taking that big buyer. And now, if it's a name that is super trademarked, meaning like it's you've got one buyer because it has no other use. So I'm buying ComfortSystems knowing I'm trying to sell it for 20 to 25. And if I can get it at a price where that makes sense, meaning like $2,000 or less, then I think it makes sense. If I've got to pay $20,000 because I want to try to go sell it to this $1 billion company, then I'm out. Like my Mark Cuban Shark Tank. And because of that, I'm out. And it sounds like Braden would be somewhat in the same boat. And I think, Josh, would you agree or would you approach it differently?
No, I'm the same way. Those are dangerous names to buy.
And we get people coming to us all the time that are asking to help sell these names, and there's like one buyer, and it's like, I don't know, we want to even waste the time on this. Like, clearly, these guys, if they wanted it, they probably would have taken it off the market. They probably don't want it, so we're gonna go try and shop this name to a bunch of other people that are gonna be scared of like the big company.
I think again that comes. So we deal with this a lot too on the brokerage side for sure. Being the number one domain broker in the world, and so it's an issue that comes up a lot. Yeah, I just I'm obligated. I'm obligated by contract. I have to say it. But I didn't even want to say it, guys. I didn't even want to do it. No, but jokes aside, but the eval that we'll do because we get this a lot where, hey, there's one big buyer potentially, right? And then that becomes a conversation with the client about, okay, well, have you had interactions with them? Like, are we stepping into, do you need us to help negotiate the best possible price because you've had dialogue? Have you not reached out ever at all? Is this sort of just, hey, this is who I think you should go sell it to?
Yeah.
And then it's also, then I think it also comes down to pricing as well, right? Like, we're very careful of the names we take under brokerage based on the expectations of our seller, right? That's always, literally the biggest conversation is, okay, well, what are you trying to, we'll give you an idea of what we think that the market will bear for this domain because based on our expertise and our experience and, we know what we know, does that line up with the expectations of the seller, right? And, they oftentimes will have these big eyes around, hey, this is some $1 billion company. They're the clear best buyer. But if they're the only buyer, that's a very, sort of specific conversation that we'll have with our client around the expectations because, we're not trying to invest a whole lot of time and effort knowing that, it's, unlikely to be successful based on, because you're right. You have a big company out there and they're going to scare off others, then that gives them an enormous amount of leverage, right? And then that means, then again, we're back to a conversation around pricing. And so no, I think that's a very good point on the ComfortSystems piece. Again, for me, looking at this name without knowing about that big potential buyer and them being the only folks that are out there for something like that. But this name does have a little generic value that I think gives it, doesn't take it completely off the table.
Well, I apologize. I did research on all of these and I prepared.
I'm sorry that I showed up.
Yeah, I apologize. I won't do it again.
You know what? I'm proud of you, man. Thank you. Because you're the kind of, I've been waiting for you to just show up and show and set the standard, because
this is how you make
it. He's just new. He just knew. He comes to NamesCon wearing a suit. Like he feels like a room. So
people respect it when you wear a full suit to NamesCon. Everyone should. Anyone listening, you want to be well received and respected, you should wear a full suit.
No one's going to ask you to go get them a drink thinking you're the bartender. Don't worry, that's not going to happen. But no, all good stuff, and great way to wrap up the NameJetGonnaJet segment. That was great, guys. There's a ton of great info in this episode, by the way, and I do appreciate your perspective, Rob, your questions and your feedback because it's what it takes. It takes a village. So all good stuff. All right. Well, we are almost out of time, so I'm going to do a quick round the horn just to see what else is going on. If anybody's got anything that they want to mention that we have not covered, I'll start with you, Josh. What's good? Anything?
No. Nothing new with me, guys. Same as last week. Here, just doing my thing, and happy to be here.
All right. Well, happy to have you here, man. And you keep doing what you're doing. DNX. If you're not using it, you're. And I say this to the audience, then
You're not using it. You're losing it.
That's it.
Is that true?
Scientifically proven. So yeah. All right, Braden. What about you, man?
I just hope this trend continues. The offers are coming in and the sales are coming in. I hope it continues, man. It's been good. A lot of action, and makes me want to get up in the morning and check my inbox.
Oh, that's awesome. Well,
what about with domains, Braden?
No, nothing there.
Oh, well played. Well, Drew talked about it on the last episode. We had expected, we always expect the summer, it's cyclical, it gets a little slow, and then picks up, late August into early September. But we saw that really pick up over the last few weeks, where almost like the summer was like a month long, as far as like sort of like a bit of a, and not even a slow period, but like, for us, it was a little bit quiet. And then it's just gotten pretty active, to say the least. So yeah, so glad to see that that's happening for you too, Braden. Happy for you. Rob, what's up, man? Close it out. What's good?
What is good? Nothing. Just again, feel really blessed. Thank you for having me on today. It's great to spend time and nerd out on domains. But no, I guess echoing Braden, it's been busy. It's been real busy. There's a lot of activity right now. I was talking to a couple of VCs recently, and they've been busy. Like, I think that all these things are interconnected, right? Like, people raising money to start companies, and then they start looking at assets, right? Like, they've been busy too. People have been, from the investment community, have been sitting on a lot of dry powder for the last couple of years.
Mhm.
The IPO market is starting to open up. New companies are getting funded. It's getting, like, wouldn't say frothy, but like it's fluid. A lot of companies are raising big rounds, and more companies are coming out of woodwork, and that translates into this world pretty nicely. Like, people are looking for assets, so it's been busy and exciting, and a lot of good, fun, interesting deals in the hopper. So
All right, I
been
love
good,
it, man. Well, good stuff. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining. Looking forward to hopefully having you on the show on a somewhat regular basis. I'll keep hitting you in the inbox.
yeah, let me know what the reception is, and we
Yeah, I will. We'll see. We'll do test, the audience testing.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
see,
yeah.
see how it goes.
Do the X metrics. See what
First episode was sketchy. First episode was kind of shaky, but we said we'll give it another shot.
I
so
appreciate your trust.
well, really shout out to your PR people. They're the ones that really strong armed us into it. So,
Yeah,
but hey, they're earning their keep. So with that, everybody. So thank you to my guests, co-hosts, whatever, always, and to the audience. Thank you guys so much. I say it on every show. Without you, there is no us. We're just here doing what we're doing. We're going to be in. We will put something out there about the portfolio reviews. That is something that will happen. We've got some other cool, exciting stuff, some interesting guests that'll be coming up here in these next couple of weeks and months. And and we'll be doing what we do, and we're not hard to find otherwise. And we'll just see everybody next time here on Domain Sherpa, where all roads lead to domains. Peace out, everybody. See y'all soon.